there's a group of mothers that were together on the I think it's Drea O show in Chicago.
Drea
I might not have
yeah.
Okay, yeah, Drea O. Personality, radio personality in Chicago. And she had a lot of mothers from these kids that have some of the artists that were killed, associated with the drill movement. And I thought this was very interesting, Spoolz. I'm gonna throw it to you because you know a little bit more about it because I think you watched the whole video. I read the article, but the mothers of slain rappers FBG Duck, Lil Mister, Ray Ray, and 𝗏𝗏 talked to Chicago's the Drio show about their children, and in the process, the parents humanized their children. The parents talked about their lives after their children have passed away and how they continue to hear them referenced through hip hop. We always hear people talking about, smoking on 𝗏𝗏 and, things of that nature, and very disrespectful. And these mothers are really going through it, and it brings back, it just continues a lot of pain that they're actually going through. I've never heard this side of it before. So Spoolz, go ahead and jump in on, what touched you about this article, because it's a pretty good read hearing these mothers talk about, how painful it is to continue to hear about their children that have passed away.
Sure. No, it came at an interesting time, man. I this morning was just having like a text conversation with my man. Shout out to my man Merc Versus, if you guys know him or familiar with him. But we were talking about shit, and I was just telling him, I was like, man, something really bothers me lately for some reason. This is nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
But what goes on the internet as as far as when some of these rappers are like get killed, and everybody's not just the trolls and all that shit. I mean, that shit's disrespectful on its own, but like people like these entire reaction videos from people who really don't don't really know shit about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It gets to be a little bit much, and to me it's like these are humans before rappers, man. Right. You know what I mean? Like both well, let's see here, Vaughn, Duck, and even outside of the drill scene, Mo3, man, they all left kids behind, man.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
there's just that part of it that I think I don't know why, if it's just this weird need to be entertained, the desensitized nature of for a lot of this, I don't know, but it's sickening, man. You know what I mean? It's just getting ridiculous. And I guess just to be more specific, it's just I don't know, man, the shit that bugs me, I guess, again, is just more just some of the shit that you see on the internet, man. That kind of eggs it on, you know what I mean? And it's people on the outside that don't have a clue and are choosing not to be compassionate or sympathetic to, in my opinion, drill what people are talking about in that stuff, or in drill music, and more specifically what's going on in cities like Chicago and all over the country. But these are humans, man. I think we got to keep that in mind and remember that above anything else, who have mothers, who have children of their own. You know what I mean? So it's just something that I think gets lost when a lot of this stuff happens, man. People, I mean, we're all kind of desensitized. People, when I say we, it's people who I think are part of, like, a hip hop community, or love hip hop, or feel like they're a part of it. Like, it's all the time. You know what I mean? But man, it's I just feel like there's something like weirder in the air as far as that shit's concerned. And it's some of this YouTube shit that's just like, man, you're literally trying to profit off of death, man.
If you think about it,
it's nothing new. Not trying to say anything crazy, like, oh, I just discovered this. You know what I mean? I understand a lot of this shit's been going on for a long time. It's just, and back to tie this back in, seeing something like what Drea O did in bringing these mothers together, was so powerful, man, to see and to listen to them. And one of them, to your point, was 𝗏𝗏's mom, and everybody's smoking on 𝗏𝗏, right? Like,
right.
People who don't even who aren't from Chicago, who don't know anything about that shit, will say that, man. And it was powerful to see his mom talk about that. How do you feel when you hear this? You know what I mean? But I don't mean to get on any sort of soapbox by any means.
Nah, you good,
it just
bro.
got me. It's just shit that's been on my mind and heart for a long time before. Just forever, man. Just being an empathetic person. You know what I mean? And it's just something I feel like gets lost. Like, you know, got to point a finger at why, or we got to, let's speculate on why this happened. You know what I mean? Like that's, it's not like that man just got killed, man. This shit's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not because he's a drill rapper.
Yeah.
You know, that drill rap is a symptom of the disease, which is the societal ills of which some of these kids have to fucking, deal with all the time, or what they grew up in, so.
I mean, if you think about it, Spoolz.
Anyway,
we talked about Easy and Gucci last episode, and Gucci even said, "No, we smoking on 𝗡𝗲𝘄 tonight." This is the exact same thing that these mothers are talking about.
Well, a lot of that, exactly. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, and I thought, it's just interesting to see too how some of that verbiage or whatever has permeated through. That's Chicago slang.
100%. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just wild, man. But no, I don't know. I mean, again, that's just something.
You see it as you see it as, and this may be a weird comparison, but do you see the disrespect coming more from media figures or more from like artists themselves that are like a part of it?
If it was, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Spoolz.
I was just say it's artists that do it, but the media eats it up, man. Like when I say, I'm not talking about like Fox and shit like that. I'm talking about like today's modern media, like YouTubers who are just trying to get some attention. Somebody fucking pay attention to me, man, and they're utilizing some of this shit.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, Sean, the direct disrespect I would think comes more from like other rappers and shit like that.
I think the rappers, the artists, to Spool's point, I think there's the majority. There's a lot of it that comes from artists going against one another, but the fuel that's poured on it comes from the people that are quote unquote influencers on YouTube that are just trying to get views,
that just like comments and all
like,
that. Just
like the comments
shit alone, man. Like,
remember, I told you guys there was a comment. I think it was 2 weeks ago. We were talking. I told you that Polo G, but just one of King Von's homies, talked about how fans perpetuate some of this shit as well. Like Spoolz said in the comments and going through all these YouTube pages and gassing up these people that's in the living room talking to get subscribers about some shit they really don't know about. Like I think it all goes into one. You know what I'm saying? I do think it's the artist, but the comments and the influencers, quote unquote, throwing the fuel on top of that shit, it don't help. Dude, I'll say that it doesn't help.
Go on YouTube sometime and just Google and just put it in Google. Go on YouTube and Google. Go on YouTube and search like just Chicago gun violence or something along those lines. And there are people that have pages that are like that will, each video is like, here's where FBG Duck was killed. And like they'll go to the place on the street where he was killed and like show you on Google Maps where it was, and here's what happened. It's like recreations of like, and Duck said he had such and such bodies. It's become entertainment for weird, in some ways, and it's fucking
that shit is weird,
crazy.
Go ahead, Lone, jump in.
It's not just Chicago, man. If you look at the way they talk about other rappers, man, and shit like that, like, dude, Mo3 got gunned down running for his life on the fucking freeway in the middle of the day.
Right.
You know what I mean? And all you can see is reaction videos like about Mo3. Like, you didn't fucking know him, man. That dude died. He had kids. Like, just leave it alone. Yeah. Like, it's not fucking entertaining.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sean. Go ahead, man.
No, I don't. I mean, Jay, you can chime in.
Well, no, I touched on this a little bit in a previous episode where, as someone who's tried to embrace, the hip hop community, and hopefully I feel, and I do feel that embrace back. When it's Mo3 or Pop Smoke or FBG Duck, like I take it a little bit harder. I'm not going to say I take it harder, but like as someone who's had to witness the effect of gun violence right in my face and know that these people are so young and like they could literally be my kids, I take it a certain way. It's personal to me. I don't know them, but I feel some type of way when these young men who have basically gotten out, Let's just keep it real. They've gotten out. They're entertainers at this point. You know, they're not. You know, they're okay. Yes, they have ties to the streets, but they are entertainers, and you know, they're able to provide, you know, for their children. You know, do something nice for their mom, and it's taken away in the blink of an eye for no other reason but because of, you know, a lot of times it's not even a robbery, or even when it is a robbery, like the little bit of money that they get, like I think they, you know, they might have got $10,000 off of, I can't remember which rapper. Think about what $10,000 is like. But you know, for some people, you know, $10,000 is a lot of money, but at the same time, once again, I bring up penitentiary chances. You're taking penitentiary chances over what is the amount of money that may get you through a month and a half, you know, and and then you've taken somebody's life. And then when the police catch up with you, your life is over because you're going to jail for the rest of your life. You know, I think that we have to really, I'll bring it up again. Like I said, I was hoping that maybe this generation, it seemed like for a minute, people had figured it out, would learn from what happened with Tupac and the Notorious B.I.G. to where like
what makes you say you thought they had it figured?
Because you know, like I said, seeing this many rappers die in rapid succession, or this many rappers shot in rapid succession, we haven't seen this. You know, we didn't see this even 10 years ago, or you know, 15 years ago. Like now, it just seems like, oh, another rapper got shot this month or this week. You know, the rappers that we've seen shot and or killed within 2020, and considering we're not even supposed to be outside, is ridiculous. Like, and don't get me wrong, like the level of violence in America, considering we're not supposed to be outside, is ridiculous. But at the same time, like, how is like? But once again, I bring up how people are hungry right now. And
that's
maybe
where I was going to go.
And the thing is, not even hungry for money. People are hungry for clout and hungry for I did that's. You know, like a lot of times this gun violence goes down, and there's not even a come up involved. They're just doing it to do it, or because somebody said something or somebody heard something. Like, and that's the most disappointing part, is because people are losing their lives for no other reason because of ego, misunderstandings,
pride, ego.
Something that if maybe they were a year older, or they had just a little bit more understanding, or there was somebody within their circle who would say, oh, hey, young buck, let's go ahead and just let's go ahead and talk this out. It wouldn't have to come to people being shot to death on Michigan Avenue in the middle of the day. Like, that doesn't even make sense. It's not even like FBG Duck wasn't shot, you know, on the rough side of Chicago, south side or west side. He was shot basically where all the high end stores were. Somebody hunted him down and shot him in the middle of the day. That's probably the thing that has sat so poorly with me. It made me so uneasy about the state of not just hip hop, but where our young men are, to where they feel so emboldened to go and shoot somebody in the middle of the day, where they're in a place where that's not even their block. You know, so anything can happen on your block. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, when Nipsey was killed, it was, you know, in his neighborhood. And, you know, unfortunately, it doesn't have to be a conspiracy or anything planned out for somebody to get killed in South Central Los Angeles. But where Duck got killed, like that's just not happens. And the thing is, usually when something like that happens in that tax bracket of an area, they find that person immediately. Just like they found those kids who wound up shooting Pop Smoke. They weren't going to let that murder go unsolved, because they weren't going to let the people who live in that area feel unsafe because of this situation. So,
but you touched on something that's really important. I want to get this in. You touched on something that's really important. You talked about OGs. You talked about, you know, mentioning OGs. And you know, being able to sit down and talk to the youth.
You're getting closer to my point. Keep going.
That's why I was about to come to you. I was about to come to you, Lone. When he did that, I think it already is coming to your point. That's why I wanted to give you platform to say whatever your point is, because I feel like we were coming around to it. I saw you come in a couple times saying that's where you were going.
Yeah, I think you know, everything that everybody's saying is perfectly valid. I tend to personally look at things from an angle of why are things the way they are, you know, and boil it down. Like, if there are more rappers chasing clout and killing each other in the streets, or if that's just, what does that speak about society right now? What does that speak about the state of the world and America that we're in right now? What does that say about the climate, that everything, why do people feel that way in the first place? And, you know, it unfortunately goes it goes down to like politics to me. And it goes to you know,
expand on the politics part.
How the country is built. And I mean, I don't want to jump into the depths of and have a deep capitalism debate here on the show. You know, like the past, but you know, like there's those elements that are a part of it. You know, everybody is chasing money. You know, and everybody is chasing everything that comes along with the money. And Jay Moore made a very interesting point about penitentiary chances over like 10 grand. Like, yeah. Think about it. Like, if that's really a thing, think of what that says about the state of the economy, or not even the economy, just the structure of where we're at right now, you know? And granted, I understand that it's not like it's way different than it was 20, 30 years ago, but it makes you wonder about those things even further. At least it does for me. I mean, I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in, but that's just the angle that I would want to like dive deeper into on these things, if you will.
Spoolz, do you think speak when it comes to OGs? We never want to say a generation is quote unquote unreachable. You know what I'm saying? But I think that the climate that we're in now is so different with the advancement of social media, and everybody wants to be a star, and everybody has followers, and everybody does things for attention. From an OG standpoint, is it OGs that are gonna have to try to, you know, combat some of this, or is it gonna have to come from somewhere else? Because this is a totally different animal. You know what I'm saying, into media and how things are portrayed.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's why I guess to kind of bring it back to what we were talking about, like the thing on Complex, and I highly recommend everybody watch it. With Drea O and the 4 mothers that she had on, stuff like this, man. Like just the, you know, I ask myself that question too all the time. I mean, how do we get back to more compassion, or how do we get to a more compassionate place? So, I mean, it's not like we've ever been that way, super compassionate, you know what I mean? But how do we get to a place where we, especially in this country, just like admit kind of something I touched on? We could sit, man. I know. You know, about the, you know, especially stuff Lone touched on too, with the political side and the economics and the, you know, part of it, what I talked about with just like how even sometimes the finger gets pointed at someone who got murdered. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I get how, I mean, not to get super deep into that, but that's certainly, I mean, and by that I mean like, oh, you know, he was a thug and you know, all this bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like, no, man, that's a dead person, man. Like, I don't know, or you know how it's somebody. You know, I don't know. But no, I think things like what I saw today, and you know, with that thing on Complex, that helped. That's going to help. You know, something along those lines. But a lot more, man. Like, I remember in Chicago, I'm not sure if they still have this program or not, but they had the interrupters.
Yeah.
That seemed to,
I think they're still a thing.
Are they? Okay. I didn't know if they had like,
yeah, I mean, because their whole thing is to keep retaliation from happening for certain incidents.
Right. But I don't know, dude. I think about that a lot, man.